The phone buzzed against the kitchen counter, its light flashing like a warning in the dim evening. I froze, spatula still in hand, as the onion sizzle faded to a distant whisper. Unknown number. My stomach knotted. Why was her phone lighting up at 9:17 p.m. when she told me she was stuck at work? I glanced toward the staircase, half expecting to hear her footsteps, but the house was quiet except for the occasional creak of pipes. My fingers hovered over the screen, a weight of unspoken suspicion pressing on my chest. I shouldn't open it, but I did. The message struck like a shard of glass. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Same place, 7. No sender, no context. Just those words slice into the calm of our evening. I stood there, the aroma of dinner I'd been preparing hanging thick in the air. My heart thudded violently, drowning out everything else. Was this a thing I'd feared but never dared to name? Hands trembling, I set the phone down, telling myself it could be nothing. A colleague, a friend, a harmless mix-up. But the seed of doubt had already taken root, sprouting thorns. The next morning, Leah floated into the kitchen, sunlight catching her auburn hair like a halo. She pressed a quick kiss to my cheek, cool and fleeting, and poured coffee into her travel mug. Late shift again tonight, she said, her voice overly cheerful. Don't wait up, okay, Ethan? I nodded, throat tight, noticing her fiddling with earrings I didn't recognize. Emerald studs, new? A gift? My mind cataloged every detail. The smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, a faint perfume that wasn't her usual citrus. You look nice, I said, testing the waters. Her laugh sounded a touch too sharp. It's just work, babe. Stop worrying. But I couldn't stop. The hours crawled by, each one dragging dread behind it. I replayed the message in my head, analyzing every word, every nuance. I thought of the last few months, late nights, the guarded phone, the locked laptop. Minor things, once easily explained, now loomed like shadows. By noon, I was pacing the living room, bare feet creaking on the hardwood, walls closing in with framed photos of us smiling in love. Were we ever that happy? Or had it all been an act? I didn't want to be that husband, the paranoid one, snooping, but the text called to me a splinter I couldn't ignore. I checked her calendar while she showered, steam curling out from under the door like a secret escaping. There was wedged between mundane entries. Dinner 7 p.m. La Rosetta. No client name, no work label. Just dinner. My stomach churned with a cocktail of betrayal and self-loathing. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was losing my mind. That evening, I sat in my car across from La Rosetta, the restaurant's warm glow spilling onto the rain-dampened cobblestones. The air was sharp, smelling of wet asphalt. I told myself I was just checking, ensuring she was safe. But deep down, I knew I was hunting for a truth I wasn't ready to face. At 7:03, Leah stepped out of the cab. Her black dress clung to her, and her laughter carried across the street as she greeted a man. Tall, broad-shouldered, a smile I recognized from old photos. Her ex, Marcus. Pain shot to my chest as they hugged, lingering too long, too close, before slipping inside. I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, mind screaming at me to confront them. But I stayed rooted, paralyzed by fear of what I'd find. 2 hours later, they emerged into a soft drizzle, rain blurring the streetlights. Marcus held an umbrella over her, hand brushing her waist. She didn't pull away. My heart raced with raw rage and heartbreak. I wanted to believe it was innocent, just dinner. But then she leaned close to him, her face soft, whispering something that made him laugh. That sound, intimate and sharp, shattered the last of my illusions. I drove home through the rain, windshield wipers slapping in rhythm with the chaos in my mind. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't. Instead, I lay in bed, her side empty, her scent lingering like a ghost. When she returned at midnight, hair damp, she pressed a kiss to my forehead. "Love you," she murmured. I wanted to scream, to shake her, demand why she was breaking us. But I stayed silent, letting the lies settle between us like dust. The next day, I called in sick, not to my office, but to hers. I knew her assistant Jen owed me a favor after I helped her move last year. Over coffee, I casually asked about Leia's schedule. Jen hesitated, eyes darting. "She's been meeting someone," she admitted, voice low. I thought it was work, but it's always him, Marcus. My chest tightened, breath shallow. "How long?" I asked. Jen swallowed. "A few months." The betrayal clawed at me like a living thing. I drove to Marcus's downtown office, a sleek building looming over the street, and waited. When he stepped out for lunch, I approached, voice steady despite the storm inside. "Stay away from my wife," I said, locking eyes with him. He smirked, unfazed. "She doesn't seem to want that, man." The words hit me like a punch, but I didn't flinch. "You'll regret this," I said, walking away, my plan already forming. That night, I left a note on the kitchen counter. "Dinner at La Rosetta, 7 p.m., don't be late." Leia read it and frowned. "What's this about?" she asked, unease creeping into her voice. "Just trust me," I said, tight smile. At the restaurant, I booked the same table she'd shared with Marcus. I ordered wine, her favorite, watching her shift nervously, eyes darting to the door. "What's wrong?" I asked lightly, but my gaze was heavy. She laughed, trying to mask it. "Nervous." "Nothing, Ethan. Stop being so controlling. It's just dinner." Then Marcus walked in. Not by chance. I texted him from her phone, mimicking her tone. His face paled. Leia's glass trembled, wine sloshing. "Ethan, what?" she began, but I cut her off. "I know," I said, voice low, lethal. "I know everything." The restaurant seemed to shrink, the clink of glasses and murmurs fading. Marcus stammered, backing away, but I ignored him. I looked at Leia, wide-eyed with guilt and fear, and felt something inside me fracture. Not just trust, but the illusion of us. I stood, leaving her at the table, her betrayal heavier than anything I'd felt before. Rain soaked my coat as I walked away. Her voice called after me, desperate, broken. "Ethan, wait!" But I didn't stop. She'd made her choice, and I'd made mine. The truth was raw, ugly, undeniable. And now she'd live with the regret. Not just of cheating, but underestimating the man who loved her enough to see it.